Tonight on Just Informed Talk, we have the latest new Q posts as well as the YouTube shooter has been identified. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. I want to start by thanking each and every one of my subscribers. Without you guys, this channel truly would not be possible, so thank you so much for everyone who has come here. If you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, make sure you come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, you'll get informed as soon as these videos get posted because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of breaking news, and I bring the content to you as soon as it's made available to me. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Here's the first post. We're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight because there's been a lot of Q posts, and we have the identity of the shooter from YouTube being made public finally, and it's actually quite disturbing to see what's the motivations there. Okay, so first, future proofs past, several today. Killbox, one day. Rod Rosenstein, military, border. Keep watching the news. APRlL, A Killbox, Moab, Q. So what is all this really saying? First, you have some things that happened in the news today before what happened over at YouTube. And one example would be this, that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein has named a new acting deputy. So they've replaced the former acting deputy, whose name is Robert Hur, for Edward O. Callahan from New York. Now, obviously, this is a very contentious time given the fact that the Inspector General had just had a U.S. attorney named as a joint task council with what happened in John Hoover. So obviously this is a shot back at the Trump's administration's move toward putting a active person in there who can fight the corruption and prosecute in many different courts. Now, if that is just one thing, that would be just maybe a coincidence, although Q says there are none. But now, military border. Well, this was put into a Q post before Trump came out and actually announced that he was sending the National Guard, which is the U.S. military, to the Mexican border to actually stave and fight off this caravan of 1,500 illegal immigrants who are trying to get into our country, obviously illegally. And we have to go down there and stop that because, you can be a humanitarian, but you have to have borders and you have to have laws. You can't just have the Mexican government funneling people up from more southern countries, giving them a direct route with buses and food and water all the way up to the U.S. border so they can just jump the fence and become U.S. citizens. I mean, in no way, shape, or form would any other country accept that kind of policy. I mean, if you imagine if the roles were reversed and we were just sending all of our economically worse off people down and say, oh, well, just emptying out the neighborhoods in the big cities where there's a lot of poverty and saying, go to Mexico and take your citizenship, or, just sending them to Switzerland, let's say, for the fairness here. Well, all right, well, we're just shipping them. We just got them plane tickets, one-way plane tickets, and put them all on flights to Switzerland. But, yeah, you guys have to take them once they get there. You know what Switzerland would say? It would be like, no. So, obviously, that's the point that Q and Trump are trying to make here. It says APRlL, A in a kill box, Moab, Q. So keep watching the news. Obviously, we have big stuff going down. This is going to be a month that's going to be just rife with different things becoming more and more public. And if you go into these Q posts, they get even crazier. I can't believe I'm reporting on some of this stuff because Q's responding to it, though, so it's going to be reported on. All right, now that's the simple fact of what we're doing here. So for those of you who don't know what a Moab is, there is Moab in Utah, which is a place, but a Moab is the mother of all bombs, famously or infamously known for being used recently by Trump in Afghanistan on a border crossing, I think near the Pakistani border, I believe, where it actually destroyed a underground complex of tunnels and roads. So, and it's a very large bomb. It's the largest bomb next to a nuclear bomb. Now, here's Q talking about, he's responding to his own post here, and he says, coincidence. Another MSM narrative change upon release of damaging news. People are waking up. Trace the background of the shooter. Focus on father. And we're going to do that right now. Who is the shooter? Well, she's been identified here. According to Jack Posobiec and other sources, her name is Nasim Agdam, and she is a YouTuber. And you can see this graphic here that we're going to look at, where this is her post, I believe. And it says, be aware, dictatorship exists in all countries, but with, I'm not even going to go through the time of reading her memorandum, other than to say that she says that YouTube is filtering her channel, and she was making complaints about how there was unfair censorship of her content. And if you look up her actual channel, well, this is the story here. There was 3 injured, and the gunman, or gunwoman I should say, killed herself. Obviously this is a tragedy for everyone involved, but I knew information would come out, so that's why I withheld making too many prejudgments in my last video, and now I'm glad, because Q has given us some stuff to go on. Now, here's another thing that happened that was kind of suspicious during all of this. This guy Vadim Lovruzik, he's a product manager at YouTube, and during the shooting, it turns out that his account was hacked, and they said some not very nice things on it. Just really weird things that were said there. But it's very strange timing. It looked like somebody did that during the attack, so I'm not sure how that works. If you guys have any more insight on this, I'd love to hear it. Just kind of doing ancillary coverage, and I figured out so far that what the tweet actually says that was faked, and it's basically a kind of derogatory slur toward him, and then talking about how he had friends in the shooting, kind of sarcastically, and it was obviously shut down pretty quick. So here is the person who Jack Posobiec points out in this tweet here. It's Nasim Sobs is her YouTube channel, and this is just an example. I think she also goes by Yasel Nasim, so she had 2 channels on here that actually were combined, 23,000 plus subscribers, and yeah, she made some very interestingly weird content that we're going to look at briefly, because she was here I'll read her description. The Persian Azeri female vegan athlete and animal rights activist promoting veganism, the healthy and humane way of, one would assume, living. And then she made another channel where it's my new Turkish channel promoting veganism, healthy and humane lifestyle. Nazim is the Persian Azeri female vegan. Now, if you try to go to her pages, this is the message that you get. This account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy against spam, deceptive practices, and misleading content, or other terms of service violation. Obviously, and then this is both her channels. I tried clicking on both of them. This is Nasim Sobs, and then this is the Yasel channel. They both come up with the same thing when you try to go to either one of them. Who knows? This is probably going to get pulled down. You can see all of her videos have been pulled down for the most part. Actually, pretty much every one, it looks like. So they got to that really quick and scrubbed it out, especially there on YouTube. Here's a picture of her Instagram account where it's just some very strange stuff. I scrolled through it. Actually, some pretty disturbing videos about animal cruelty that I'm not going to show here on this channel, but suffice it to say that they're not very friendly. Now, she posts all these videos here, and it's stuff like this that is just so strange. yeah. So I, I have no explanation for that, nor do I have this is her in front of a green screen talking about sharks and getting eaten by one, apparently, which is beyond me as to what point they're trying to prove besides that 100 million sharks every year are killed for human consumption, I guess. I don't even know if that's true, so that's just according to what this video says. Now, we get into something very interesting, what Q goes on to say. People are waking up. Trace the background of the shooter. Focus on father. 20 years. Q. Okay, so there's already articles coming out about the father. YouTube shooter's father says she was angry at the company. Okay, so this article goes on to say, and we'll read it since it's a pretty quick one here. A woman who shot 3 people and then took her own life at YouTube's headquarters Tuesday had become angry at the company because it stopped paying her for videos she posted on the platform. Her father told the Bay Area News Group Tuesday night. Nasim Agdam, 38, told her family a couple weeks ago that YouTube had, quote, stopped everything, unquote, and, quote, she was angry, unquote. Ismail Agdam said in a telephone interview from his Southern California home. Sources confirmed Agdam was the woman who entered an open courtyard at the video streaming giant's campus at lunchtime Tuesday, shooting and wounding 3 people, one critically, before turning the handgun on herself. Ismail Agdam said that on Monday morning the family had called police to report his daughter missing because she hadn't been answering her phone for 2 days. Mountain View police called the family around 2 a.m. Tuesday to tell them that they had found Nasim sleeping in her car and that everything was in control, quote unquote. He said he had told police she might be going to YouTube because she, quote unquote, hated the company. His daughter was a vegan activist, he said. She told her family that YouTube had stopped paying her for the content she posted to the site. He said, YouTubers can receive payment for advertisements accompanying their videos, but the company demonetizes some channels for various reasons, meaning ads don't run on them. Mountain View police did not immediately respond to an inquiry. And that's the whole article. Now, I tried to do some research and find out more about this Ismail Agdam. There's nothing out there on the internet that's really readily available. I will continue to do research and try to see if there's any more connections that we can find between what's going on here and what happened at YouTube. Suffice it to say that this woman was a tortured soul who ended up trying to take others' lives and then eventually taking her own. So this is definitely something that is a sad situation, which we should look at in that frame. So much more to this story that I can't really get into because a lot of it's speculative. I mean, I can make speculation, but I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you can figure out about anything regarding the story, regarding what Q is asking us to look at here, just because there's so much here that I think is worth looking into. Like, what is the 20-year reference to? Is it saying, look 20 years back to what the father was doing? I think we need to keep a definite eye on all of this, and there's going to be more information coming out. So I'm going to leave that for you guys. But I have just chills thinking about how, just this morning I was putting out video talking about the struggles that I have here, and I just think it's deplorable and sick that somebody would take this, take a reason like what's been being alleged in these reports as a reason to go and harm others with physical violence and gun violence. Obviously, as never an acceptable route or alternative to anything other than when you are literally fighting for your life. That's pretty much the only time it should be acceptable. But I'm going to leave it there. I want to hear what you guys have to think. I obviously have a lot more I could say, but I'm going to continue to hold and reserve my full take on it until more facts come out, because there will be more facts, trust me, and we will learn more, and then we will be able to come together and kind of get a complete picture of what happened here. This is a very delicate situation, and I just hope that the people at YouTube understand that whatever this person did is a one-off, and we should really be looking at everything that's behind it. I'll just leave it there. Okay. An AN0N posts P equals Pope, to which Q responds, killbox on the Pope, or brackets, however you want to say that, will be having a terrible May. Those who backed him will be pushed into the light, dark to light, truth, Q. Okay, so obviously we're confirming that P equals Pope, for those who weren't sure of it before. And Q's giving us a foreshadowing here and saying that there's going to be a lot of problems in the Vatican come May. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But I can tell you that from what I've heard, there's a lot of speculation around certain practices that have been going on in the Catholic Church, as well as certain scandals that have been coming to light involving some pretty graphic and gruesome stuff that you would never want or think to associate with the church at large, the Catholic Church. So they have their own sets of problems that they're going to come, they're going to have to come to light, and we're going to see what happens here. Now, this is a crazy one. So Q posts here this picture, and it's kind of a meme, and a guy with a Star of David in what looks to be a sea of blood, and it says, "Why do they persecute me?" And then it says Russian, Polish, Hungarian, Ukrainian blood. And the guy, the AN0N that posts this says, Pope will be having a terrible May. Pope will be having a terrible May. Holy expletive. Tell us, Q, how many are connected to Roths? And then Q responds, the quote-unquote chair serves the master. Who is the master? And then it says P equals C. Q. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on what this could be, but I really want to hear what you guys think about this in the comments, because I am trying to get all of this information put down, and I'd like to make sure I'm correct. And if I'm not, please let me know what you think. But my take on this is basically that the chair serves the master. Who is the master? And then it's Pope equals chair. So he's still serving a master. So we're going to just move right up into the next one that is a response to his own post here. It says, why is Epstein spending $29 million to bury the tunnels underneath his temple on Epstein Island? Problem, phones were allowed in. These people are stupid. So we're going to take a look at a few things that really stood out to me with regard to this temple on Epstein Island. So here's a great graphic illustrating the actual existence of these tunnels. You can see there's a built-in part here that looks very much like what you would see at the built-in entrance to an underground cavern or tunnel that has been built as some kind of shelter. And it's obviously, this was newer put up. And then this is a great graphic that actually shows the temple itself on Epstein Island, where you can see they have the owls here, which would be probably Moloch. And you can see what they explain here is there's a machine room hidden inside the dome. Then these are the elevator doors to the building. And then there's a window because it's a glass elevator, so you can see the ocean as you come up. And it gives an illustration of how this may work. So I think that's very interesting to look at. And you can see what's going on here. That's very simple, that there is a cult of people who worship the devil, allegedly. And they do things in underground caverns that we don't know yet, but they will come to light. So you guys let me know what you think about that in the comments. I really would like to hear that. Now, Q responds to his last post by saying simply, quote, H, quote. So I'm not sure what the H means, besides possibly the opposite of heaven. But I'm not 100%. You guys let me know in the comments what the H is. I don't think that's as important as getting through the rest of this information, really, for the time being. Now, what we're going to look at next is this is, I think, the island itself. Now, this is the actual little St. James Island. And you can see here how everything is set up to be a certain way. And you can actually see where the temple is very clearly. I think it's right here. But it is here on this island, and they're showing the island. And what does Q say? He says, excuse me, where do roads lead? Each prince is associated with a cardinal direction, north, south, east, and west. Sacrifice, collect, classified 1, classified 2, tunnels, table 29, D room H, D room R, D room C, pure evil, conspiracy, quote unquote, or parenthetically, or quote unquote, Q. So what is being said here, quite simply put, the connections are being made. Where do the roads lead? Well, they lead back to the associated cardinals and cardinal directions, the north, south, east, and west. And according to a lot of people, what goes on in these underground bunkers, which this is all alleged, but is things that range from your classic disgusting acts on children and abuse of children to sacrifice. So, and that would be human sacrifice. So the tunnels, do they all connect? Is there a room with a table? Was it the 29th table? Is that where possibly there is something being done? Some kind of abuses or torture of who knows? You know, I can't even speculate because there's not enough information at the moment to really get into it. But I will tell you this, that this is certainly disturbing, and I really want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this, because as more information comes out, this will become very important. Now, here's a meme that was posted by an AN0N that Q he responds to. And it says, if Satanists took over the Vatican, would you notice? And it gives this picture of the Vatican and these snake-eyed pictures, and then there's a snake head that looks similar, right? It says, symbolism will be their downfall. Money, power, influence. The bite has no cure. NSA. Q. So, I think what's being referenced here is the simple fact that exposing light to darkness and exposing the truth is really what's going to be their downfall, because their symbolism is in plain sight. These Luciferian pedophile globalist elite who are obviously involved in things in temples, in underground temple complexes on private islands in the Caribbean, where you have people like HRC being mentioned here as pure evil, working in rooms, on tables, doing classified things that they can't even tell us because of the connection here. So we have a lot more here than we even know. Now he runs a sect test, and we'll get into the next one. So we have one sec test, and then we have a confirmation for the sec test, response, security test, Bravo, B, activate, D, privilege, Q. Now, the next one, Q posts, we are under attack. And he posts a YouTube video. It says, war, no deals, Q. Now, what is that video? It's this video. We've all seen it. It goes through just like a really cool mix with music and showing of the military force that we possess. Obviously, that is something that's very interesting given what we're actually going through here today. So he goes on to say, we are under attack. Or he's responding to his own. And he says, UK, rogue failure, POTUS decline, prepared at all costs, count your beats, Q. Well, obviously, I think the count your beats is is kind of like one of those count your heartbeats, how many you have left. They tried to do something. The UK tried to go rogue and do something on their own, but POTUS declined. And we are prepared at all cost to defend ourselves and defend our country. So whatever that is, the president had his meeting today with Eastern European leaders from different countries where it was made very clear that we don't subscribe to the globalist agenda. And we are here as independent, national, sovereign individuals who have the ability to make our own policies when it comes to things going on around the world. So that's certainly something. Now, the last post here is Bunker Forest Blue plus April showers Q. For those of you who don't know or haven't been following the channel for a while, let's get into what this means. Now, the last time we saw this bunker post, we actually were talking about the Black Forest and the Austrian Rothschild estate that was sold after the dopey Prince Al-Walid told about everything that goes on there upon stringent interrogation. He was basically the one who told us about how there were pretty sick things going on at the Black Forest estate in Austria that was owned by the Rothschilds. Nothing confirmed, but we do have reports that allegedly there was everything from the sacrifice to the pedophilia to the human hunting even had been brought up. So this is one of the statements here where they talk about it, but an even more important thing to look at when you look at this is the Q post about plus. So here's the post in its entirety, and we'll read through it. Okay, it says, hard to swallow, and this is from November 11th, 2017. Hard to swallow, important to progress. Who are the puppet masters? House of Saud, 6+++. Rothschilds, 6++, 2 trillion, because they're saying the Sauds are at 4. Soros, plus, 1 trillion. Focus on above. Public wealth disclosures, false. Many governments of the world feed the eye. Think slush funds, feeder. Think war, feeder. Think environmental pacts, feeder. Triangle has 3 sides. Eye of providence. Follow the bloodlines. What is the keystone? Does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island. What is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship. Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of the colors, design, symbols above the dome? Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When, how often, why? Vladimir Putin, the New World Order worships Satan, quote unquote. Q. Okay, so I mean that, without me having to go into it, I mean that's kind of exactly what we're getting at here. Okay? And that's the stuff that we're dealing with here. That's why we're referencing what's happening here on these islands, because it's connected to the top layer, the top echelon of our entire basic global governance system. All of our top leaders around the world who have been corrupted by this, they go here and they, according to what Q is saying, they gather to allegedly worship the Dark One. So, this is exactly what we're getting at. Now, Bunker Forest Blue could be a signal, right? April showers, because we had something similar when we had the bunker for the helicopter crash at the Rothschild estate, where somebody was picked up for a surprise, quote-unquote, tour, which we can only guess was an extraction of sorts of a high priority target, and then the helicopter actually had a plane flown into it and they crashed down. So everybody on board both flights were killed. So that's what we're dealing with. Bunker Forest Blue. The last thing, or the only thing that really comes up to my mind when I think about it is right here, which is the Rothschild mansion in Austria, where they sold their Austrian hunting estate. It was a 5,400 hectare property that they sold for, I think, some ridiculous amount of money. billions or a billion plus, I think. And so that's definitely, I think, the reference that's being made there. And April showers. So we're bringing the rain, the storm. The storm is going to arrive to these people who are involved in this and who are acting against the betterment of the American people and against the betterment of humanity at large. So I think that's going to be it for tonight on this video. There's so much more. Look for new posts and more videos coming up. As soon as information becomes available to me, I'll make it available to you. But that's going to be about it for this episode. I want to say thank you all for watching. Thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. You guys are what really make this channel possible. If you haven't yet, the easiest way to contribute to this channel, if you want, is to come here and click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified as soon as these videos get posted. That really helps me out big time. And also, if you want to contribute in another way, please, we have our own QAnon research boards in the comment threads of each one of these videos. So please go down and comment. Give me your thoughts, theories. I'm going to be scouring these comments all night. I have a couple videos to go back and just spend all night reading through comments and trying to respond to as many people as I can and get you guys, what you guys think and your take on what's going on so that we can continue to develop this informed thought together. So thank you in advance to everybody who goes and does that. Another great way to help is to come here to my Patreon page, and that's PATREON.com. You can search Just Informed Talk, or you can go to patreon.com/justinformedtalk, but you'll come here to this page, click the red button to become a patron. You can come check out my rewards and my goal. It's really interesting stuff. I want to thank each and every one of my patrons who have joined me so far. You guys, I mean, talk about showing up. I can't even say how thankful I am, but I need all the help I can get, so I'm going to keep asking you guys to come here and contribute, but certainly thank you to each and every one of my patrons who have gotten here and contributed already. You guys are what are going to make this channel work. It's either going to fail or it's going to succeed, but it's going to be based on, obviously God first, and then the help and support of everyone here who watches and enjoys this content that I bring to you guys every day. So please come here and contribute if you can. Thank you in advance to everybody who comes and checks it out, and thank you again to each and every one of my patrons. Finally, what we're going to talk about tonight is always the most important thing, and that is God's love. Why is it important to talk about God's love? Well, we've gone through quite an interesting roller coaster here with the Q phenomena. It has gone from one extreme to the other, and we continue to have these movements where new things become new revelations, and then the things that were in the past become clearer to us. But it can cause a lot of anger to stir in our hearts, and it can cause a lot of people to want to lash out against those evil who are basically working against us as the good, the light, the people who are bringing justice to the world and fighting for it every day. We should not let them bring the darkness from their heart into ours. Rather, we should attempt every day to draw on God's love and to push that out into the world, to make everyone know that no matter how much darkness or evil or the worshiping of Satan that goes on by whoever it is, the elites, the globalists, the Luciferian pedophiles, that they will not draw down our strength. Just as we won't let a person who is obviously psychotic and goes and commits such a heinous act against innocent people and then turns around and takes their own life, we won't let that draw us down. We will draw on God's love in these harsh times where people are forced to address the cold realities that exist in this world. It is not my pleasure to bring some of this information and stories to you other than to shine light on darkness and to spread truth and to spread God's word. But it is not necessarily my favorite pastime bringing such dark news. That's why I always try to bring a little bit of God's light into each one of these episodes so that you guys understand that God does love you. And if you're having trouble, you have to persevere and you have to draw on God's grace and His love and pray. If you haven't, make sure you open your heart and pray. So no matter what kind of trouble you're going through, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling like you want to hurt or do something bad, think about this. There's somebody that exists or that existed and still exists today who sacrificed everything for our sins. And therefore, as long as we repent and embrace Him and grab onto His love, we can be saved. And that person is Jesus Christ. So if you guys are having a problem, make sure you draw on His love and goodness, okay? Which means just praying, being diligent in your faith, and trying to contribute to your community in a positive way. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. It's been a pleasure to go through another video with you. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really can't wait to hear it. If you haven't, make sure you come here and click the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you can get notified when these videos get posted. But until the next time, and I don't know, we may even have another video tonight depending on if Q posts keep coming up. But you guys just stay tuned for that, and I will let you know exactly when I get informed of new information. But I'm certainly curious to hear what you guys have to think, so let me know what you think in the comments. But that's going to be it. I'm Craig. This is Just Informed Talk. God bless, and Godspeed, Patriots.